All right, it's going to be a second. Well, why, you ask? Because I forgot to change the thumbnail. Give me a second. There we go. Now it's me. Here's my face. Hi, everybody. Welcome. And I know I'm pretty damn late today, but it's just quite a morning. So anyway, I'm not going to waste a lot of time with this intro, other than to say, hi, I'm here. And let's get into it. Johnny, this might be a good time to play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
All right, like I said, not a lot of formalities. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Tuesday, the 15th of November, 2022. Just not a long way away from that old Thanksgiving holiday, which is one of my favorites. I'm going to smoke a turkey today. I didn't know they made bongs that big, but I'm going to try. Anyway, it's I don't know if that's an oldie but a goodie, but it's one that I've heard someone else say somewhere in the world. And anyway, I'm gonna take a try. We bought 4 turkeys. They're all smaller turkeys because for whatever reason Sam's Club didn't have the big ones, and since we're gonna have about 12 people over for Thanksgiving dinner, which we just figured that out. It's going to be a Friendsgiving that some of Laura's friends are going to come over and join me and my daughter and her husband and grandmas and then a bunch of friends, and we're going to have a nice Thanksgiving dinner, which was not in the plans this year. Originally, we were not going to be doing Thanksgiving in our house but things are changed. So anyway, I've never smoked a turkey before, though, so I'm going to smoke a turkey this week just to see how it goes. I've got a turkey that I've thawed, and I'm going to be putting some seasonings on it today, and then tomorrow I'm going to put it out in the old grill with my little quasi-smoking setup that I have while it's snowing. And there's snow in my town, yay. Anyway. All right, let's get into it because I don't have much time. Let's say good morning, everybody. First in the chat in the YouTube, or excuse me, on the Rumble side is Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. Thank you very much for joining us. Also, good morning, Simon Wolfwood on that side of the ledger. On the YouTube side, good morning, Simon Humble Nation, who gets the bell for being the first one here. Oh, I didn't reset the Superstar Donor of the Day. Let me take care of that too because I'm slacking today. There we go. Fix that. There. Now we do not have a Superstar Donor of the Day. Also, good morning to Avocados Diablo. Again, Tyrannus Alexandrius, Tamerlich, Lord Stanhope, Nathan James, DDG 151. That's new. Wait, we just won the house officially. Yes, I saw that. That is good news. For all you doomers and gloomers out there, look, I've had mixed feelings about all this because there's some just crazy crap going on, and I don't like how we've been doing voting stuff, the whole mail-in nonsense. But I don't care. Look, instead of being doom and gloom, we need to look at what was accomplished. In spite of Lindsey Graham trying to shoot down the Republican Party with his stupid bill he introduced in the Senate, and all the shenanigans going on with look, let me make a statement that I saw someone make. Republicans campaign for votes. Democrats campaign for ballots. You make of that what you will. But it's a good thing that that worked out. So anyway, but look, we won the House. Florida turned Florida solidly red, turned Ohio solidly red. A lot of these other swing states. Look, the next election, I think 23 Democrat senators are up for re-election, and they're just. I look, the fact that we have some breaks by getting the House is a good thing. So, and also the other thing that's interesting this year is the state houses kind of stayed around the same. I think we gained one governor. We gained, the Senator of Nevada, lost one in Pennsylvania, whatever. And then we still got Warnock and Herschel Walker, which I have predicted Warnock's going to win just because the Democrat machine is much better than the Republican machine when it comes to collecting ballots. Note that I did not say votes, collecting ballots. Because we haven't figured out that, changing with the times sometimes requires changing tactics. Get it? Got it? Is this thing doing it? Oh, God, this thing's doing this thing again. Is the output in? Okay, hang on. Yep, it's going in 1280. Well, I will fix that next time, hopefully. Anyway, but we made gains in some state houses. We made some gains on school boards all around the country because some of the shenanigans going on in your schools are far more important than what's happening nationally in some ways, because we're churning out a bunch of morons who are pretty much political animals versus people who can count and balance a checkbook. So I think the fact that we have made some inroads in school boards and just brought parents aware to what is happening in our country, that's a victory. And look, we just needed one chamber. We didn't need them both. It would be great to have won them both, but you know what? The brakes are on in the House of Representatives. So anyway, thank you, Nathan, for reminding me of that. Also, good morning to Tyler F. Simon Wolfwood on that side. TC's in the house. Welcome back, sir. Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning to Lurking Gopher. Nice to have you back. Aaron Meredith, what up? Attack Alpaca. James Colley. Let's see. Who else is here? Rotten Corpse is in the house. My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies here. And Rod Line, welcome back. Nomads in the house. Hammer time. Ronan Wolf, what's up? And Nobody Not Be. That looks like everybody is in the house. I don't know what song that was. Anyway. So let's get into the news because I don't have a ton of time. Real quick, though, thank you to Simon Wolfwood, Tyler F., Somnambule Nation for tweeting out the show. Please, if you are watching this show, you must like it. That's all there is to it. And if you're not subscribed, thank you, Renee Vogel, Renee Vogels Jr. for subscribing. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, and if you're not, if you're just lurking or watching, and the reason you can't chat is because you have to be subscribed for at least 5 minutes to this channel before you can chat. I was having a really big problem with chat bots coming in and putting little sex links and shit in my chat. So I just have to do that. And I apologize if you're new here and you're like, why can't I chat? Wait 5 minutes and then you'll be able to jump into the chat. In fact, if you do that, please let me know you jumped in, and I'll be glad to. I'm glad to see you. Now, by the way, speaking of that, yesterday in the show, there was some phenomenon. I don't know what happened. Sometime about 35 minutes, 40, 50 minutes into the show. No, it's about an hour into the show. All of a sudden, my viewer count just exploded. It went from like 50 to like 800. I mean, the largest concurrent number of viewers I had at one point was 801. I'm like, what the hell happened? And so I come home and I'm going to investigate. I'm going to go into the analytics of YouTube and try to figure out where all these people came from. And lo and behold, I can't find out. Why, might you ask, can't I find out? Because yesterday's stream has been blocked worldwide by NBC Universal because I talked about and showed footage of Dave Chappelle's monologue on Saturday Night Live. Now, because it's I got a content, not a content strike. Obviously, I'm here, so if I get a strike, you wouldn't be seeing my face. But I did get a content claim, which does not take down your channel, but it does take down that video in certain parts of the world, whereas that one takes down my video worldwide. I will be disputing it. It was clearly fair use the way I was using it as part of a news and entertainment comment broadcast where I definitely had transformational information. There was my face talking about what he was talking about, and I compared and contrasted to what Donald Trump himself said compared to what David Chappelle said. There's no doubt in my mind that if there were ever a lawsuit on that stream, I would kick their ass. So I will be disputing that, I promise. And because I want that one back up, because I want to figure out where those 800 people came from. And it wasn't just 800 people. There's like that stream had 1,200 views. That's like might be a record in 24 hours, or for one stream for sure. That 1,200 people came through the stream. Hell, by far. So anyway, we'll figure it. The extra viewers are my friends from space. Oh, well, there you go. I'm not sure. I am just lulling you into complacency. Who, me? No. No sexy links for me? What? Oh, yeah. Are you sure? No more sexy links for me. I just don't know where they came from. No more sexy links for me. Okay, enough of that shit. Let's get into the show. Now I have them kind of grouped in order, but I might get something out of order. Thank you, Nobody Not Me, for retweeting the show. Please hit the like button. Share the stream like some of our friends are already doing here. It helps a lot. And if you'd like to sponsor the show or help me out with some bills, pdognight.live. It's not necessary, but if you want to, and it's basically like a super chat, okay? But when you do it at pdognight.live, you don't get limited on your characters. 255 characters, no matter how many dollars you put into the, whatchamacallit, okay? Oh, Renee, thank you for liking the tweet, too. I appreciate that. I'm assuming this is the same Renee. How many Renees are there? Renee Vogel Jr. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. So let's discuss the news, shall we? That's what we do here. We check out the news, see what's happening, and then we're going to go. By the way, who is it? What's that dude? Daryl Brooks? He's getting sentenced today. In fact, I would be watching that if I weren't watching here. But today, Daryl Brooks' sentencing, it's going to be, I believe they allotted 6 hours for the victim impact statements. So if you're after this show, you want to check out that over there. They have it on Rikita's channel and Law and Crime. I think a couple different channels have it. And we don't know how many people Daryl Brooks is going to have speaking on his behalf in the sentencing. My prediction is he's going to get the maximum sentence for each charge consecutive. He's never getting out of jail. At least I hope so. I think there's no real reason for him to be returned to humans or to normal society, in my personal opinion. So anyway, all right. And thank you for retweeting the show, Renee. All right. So there's an interesting phenomenon, and like I said, these are not in order. The name of the show is Do Women Have a Choice? I'm not starting with that story, though, because there's a story that I think that's breaking this morning, but I'm gonna come back to that because there's another interesting story that's happening. You remember when Paul Pelosi got attacked in his home, and NBC News put out a report, right? Now, this was a few days into it, right? A few days into it that got a lot of people talking. Right? And but then they retracted the report because it was talking about how when the police arrived, Paul Pelosi answered the door. He didn't say there was anything wrong. Then he walked back into the house. Then he got into the struggle with the hammer, and he and that jerkwad dude got in the struggle with the hammer. And then the guy hit him in the head, and then the police came and took care of that, right? But the weird thing is they said that Paul Pelosi answered the door because prior iterations of this story, first they said, well, an unknown person answered the door. And then they said, well, nobody answered the door. It was only Pelosi and DePapa or whatever that dude's name is. And then the story at NBC said, well, that Paul Pelosi answered the door and he didn't say anything was wrong. And then he went the other way. And it was a shit show, right? They don't know. But NBC retracted the story. Now, it seemed as though the NBC story was sourced, and yet they retracted it, and everyone's like, oh, no, that's not the right story. And you got to wonder, what's this guy's name that got attacked? Pelosi. Very, very influential name in the city of San Francisco, the state of California, and in the United States of America. And I'm pretty sure that someone with the name Pelosi might have some pull on whether or not what kind of information gets out. I mean, obviously, they're not getting rid of the body cam footage. They're not doing any of that, which normally happens in San Francisco. So something is afoot. So something interesting I noticed today in the old Twitter feed, and that is this. NBC News is mum as Miguel Almaguer. I don't know how to say that properly. Almaguer, that's probably close. Hasn't appeared on air since the Paul Pelosi report was mysteriously retracted. Uh-oh. And they have not explained why the report didn't meet their standards. And so that's an article in Fox News. So I went and clicked over on Fox News and said, oh, here it is. Here's the story. NBC News national correspondent Miguel Almaguer. Oh, wait, let's see. Is this the story? Wait a minute. Did they have a link to the story, or is this the Fox? Okay, this is the story. Here's the story that was retracted. Okay, here's the story. Let me show you this.
NBC News learning new details about the moment police arrived.
Really?
Sources
Hi,
familiar
David
with what
Gershwin.
unfolded in the Pelosi residence.
Hello,
now
Reese
revealing
Donald.
When officers responded
Hello,
to
Renee
the
Vogel.
high-priority call, they were seemingly
And
unaware
Jay Pylon.
they'd been called to the home of the Speaker of
Uh-oh.
the House. After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi.
Yes, and this is the part they retracted. They pretend like, oh, this didn't happen. Uh-oh, what the hell did I do? What happened? What the hell happened there? That's not what's supposed to happen. Okay, well, we don't need to watch. You know what I'm talking about already, right? So anyway, NBC News national correspondent Miguel Almaguer has not appeared on the network in 11 days since his explosive report on the Paul Pelosi attack was retracted. But he and NBC News have remained silent. Silence! Since the scrubbing of his report suggested the House Speaker's husband may not have been in danger when police arrived. The order has puzzled NBC News insiders, with some believing the report was squashed because it went against the mainstream narrative. Oh, really? That never happens. A former senior NBC News executive who worked with Almaguer believes the network needs to explain what's going on. They have some splaining to do. Yes, they do. NBC News must be more transparent with its viewers about this error. Who wrote Miguel's script? Who approved the script? Are he and his producers suspended during an internal investigation? NBC's silence on the matter speaks volumes. NBC owes its audience to be truthful and not cover this up, the former executive said. Now, this goes on and on, just going on the details, right? So, now, I don't know if you remember, if you were here, if you remember, if you watched this channel at the time, I made a little prediction, right? I made a little prediction that we probably wouldn't know the real details of this incident until long after the midterm elections. It'll be just some blip. They'll try to slip by you there, kind of like with Paul Pelosi's DUI. They tried to slip that one by. It didn't work, but so now we still don't know who opened the door, right? Well, now this question was about Miguel, what's his name? Miguel Almaguer. Wait, I want to see something about this report. Let me check something real quick. I'm sorry. Let me go back in here for a second. I want to go back to about the
as police. everything
Here's the rest of the
was
report.
already injured or what his mental state was, say sources. According to court documents, when the officer asked what was going on, defendant smiled and said everything's good.
And again,
But
these are court
instantaneously,
documents.
A struggle ensued as police clearly saw David DePape strike Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. After tackling the suspect, officers rushed to Mr. Pelosi, who was lying in a pool of blood.
Law enforcement officials tell us the bottom line here is this was a terrifying situation.
This
we
is the
still
guy
don't know
we haven't
exactly
seen
what unfolded
since.
between Mr. Pelosi and the suspect for the 30 minutes they were alone inside that house before police arrived. Officials who were investigating this matter would not go into further details about these new details.
Now, what's fascinating about this, some of the information came from the court documents. So we're wondering, but wait. The question here is, whatever happened to Miguel Almaguer? Well, the news reporter, NBC news reporter Miguel Almaguer, was suspended over the retracted Paul Pelosi story. He's been suspended and this is an article as of today, 7:59 a.m. NBC Today show correspondent, and NBC Today correspondent has been suspended as the network conducts an investigation. An investigation! They're conducting an investigation as to how they could have made this report on national news without the permission of the Pelosi's. Of course, that's not in the article, but I'm assuming. Investigation into his now retracted story about the attack on Paul Pelosi. Journalist Miguel Almaguer has reported that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband didn't let on that he was in danger when cops showed up at his San Francisco home right before he was assaulted with a hammer. Now, again, didn't they just show you the court documents that said those very, very words? Is it just me? Am I reading things out of context? I don't know. The correspondent has been suspended for the erroneous story the Daily Beast Confider newsletter reported. Well, well, there you go. I'm sure that that's accurate. Has anyone actually seen Mr. Almaguer? I'm concerned. I'm concerned because, Jeffrey Epstein and all. But anyway, the now deleted clip said Paul Pelosi, 82, answered the door for cops who responded to a 911 call, but that they were seemingly unaware they had been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. How that can be true, I have no idea. I'm sorry. It's the most notorious house in the precinct area. How would they not know it was the Pelosi house? That's just You smell that? It smells like bullshit to me. Anyway, Pelosi didn't declare an emergency or try to leave, but instead walked several feet back into the foyer towards David DePape, who had broken into the home and was carrying a hammer, according to sources that told NBC these things, citing sources familiar with the matter. Oh, the best sources ever. The best sources ever. Sources familiar with the matter. The NBC report said it wasn't clear what Pelosi's mental state was or if he had already been hurt. The report contradicted court documents filed in DePape's case that said Pelosi was nervously but calmly greeted officers in a dimly lit foyer where both men stood. Well, why did he walk back in? God, who knows? Anyway, and of course, well, this is New York Post. This is weird. It was later taken down with the explanation the piece should not have been aired because it did not meet NBC News reporting standards. Oh, wait. NBC News has reporting standards? That's breaking news. I didn't know they had any. Oh, my God. Right-wing media outlets took the report and its retraction as proof that politically motivated cover-up and the attack, which Pelosi left Pelosi with a cracked skull. Okay, now who wrote this for the New York Post? That's not usually, they don't usually say right-wing. Right-wing! Anyway, so Mr. Miguel Almaguer has been suspended for that erroneous support. You know what? Could this be a first in the history of NBC News that they suspended somebody for an erroneous report? Because they get plenty of them over and over and over. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about this. I'm not so familiar with this company that has gone under FTX. We're hearing a lot about the FTX story, right? Well, here, let's see what Jess. I haven't watched this. Oh, this is kind of long. I don't know if I should watch. This is a long video. Well, let's see how Jesse Waters handles this. I might cut this off, but here's Jesse Waters talking about the FTX, well, they call it the funnel of fraud. The funnel of fraud.
Of the biggest financial fraud case in U.S. history. A cryptocurrency company, you know, like the Bitcoin things, just lost
Jesse.
$2 billion of its customers.
$2 billion with a B.
They didn't just lose it in the market.
$2 billion.
Someone
Poof!
stole
God, stole
and
it.
the company
Holy
called
shit.
FTX just went bankrupt after they blew up $32 billion.
$32 billion.
The crypto market in chaos after the collapse of the FTX exchange. With
there's
a new
Charles.
set
What's
of
his face?
questions on
He's a
where
good
billions and billions of dollars went.
A criminal investigation of its
this
founder,
is
Sam Bankman-Fried,
has
been opened in the Bahamas.
This is being called the worst disaster in the history of crypto.
This is bigger.
Well, in the history of crypto, like crypto's been around for 700 years or something. Crypto's a fairly new phenomenon. Maybe 20 years, says that? I don't know. Anyone, any crypto experts in the chat? I'm just curious. But anyway, I'd like to introduce you to my extreme right-wing nudist male prostitute hemp jewelry manufacturer from San Francisco. I will introduce you to my BFF, the Loch Ness Monster. Yes, I agree. That's a good, there you go. Nicely done, Lord Stanhope. That caught my attention. Okay, let's go back to this crypto dude.
Than Bernie Madoff. But
worse than Bernie Madoff? Oh, since Bernie Madoff.
Who was getting rich off a Ponzi scheme. The Democratic Party was getting rich
That's the
off of
thing.
FTX.
They were getting lots
FTX
of
came
money.
onto the scene in 2019, and it spent...
This dude, $40 million, just himself, to Democrat... At the midterm elections. Spent $40 million on his crypto scheme. Well, because he had his, because I know he was, what do you call him? Not a crypto wallet place. He was one of those, I don't know, crypto aggregator types peoples. And he seems to have, they dealt in other different types of crypto, but mostly they had their own. And they had this weird nerdy math nerd looking chick doing the calculations and shit. I don't know. 32 billion with a B. Oh my God. Hello, T-Ball. What up? FTX, the fuck Trump exchange. Yeah, that's exactly what FTX stands for.
$10 million to put Joe Biden in the White House in 2020.
Oh, $10 million.
And the guy running FTX, the second biggest Democrat donor in the
dude who looks like he should be selling T-shirts on, what is that? Okay, I asked you all this the other day and I can't remember. What's the beach in California where they have the kind of have the sidewalk that goes around through there, and it's the most famous one, Venice Beach. That's right. He looks like he should be selling T-shirts on Venice Beach. He does not look like a brilliant billionaire type of guy. Anyway,
midterms after Soros, of course, spent $40 million to get Democrats elected.
$40 million.
Wonder why someone like John Fetterman was able to raise as much as 4 times as much cash as Oz? Well, you can thank Sam Bankman-Fried,
yes,
who ran this crypto scheme out of a penthouse in the Bahamas.
Hi, my name is Sam, and this is my story.
Sam! This is Sam! He's a... I'm sorry, he looks like he smells like pee. Anyway.
Sam has crazy hair. Sam is vegan. Sam sleeps 5 hours a night. Sam lives in the Bahamas with 10 roommates. Sam is 29 years old only, but Sam has $22 billion.
This is Sam. Right here. This is Sam. Okay? Don't be Sam. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't be Sam. Yes. Yeah, okay, good. Douchebag alley. That's not it.
and he wants to donate all of it to charity.
Charity? You mean the Democrats? That's what he really wants to do.
And the charity was the Democratic Party.
Nah.
Look at Sam right there behind George Soros.
And ahead of Michael Bloomberg. You know, someone the other day, I told you about this Twitter argument I got in, right? Someone saying, yeah, he was the second biggest donor to Democrats behind George Soros. And they went on to talk about him. And nothing else was about George Soros. And someone in the chat was like, or someone in the thread was like, oh, just bring out those anti-Semitic tropes. This is so anti-Semitic. And I'm like, wait, what? How is it anti-Semitic? Well, anyone who brings up Soros with something that's negative is obviously because of anti-Semitism. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you're just comparing to other Democrat donors and you're number 2 behind number 1 who happens to be George Soros, and you say George Soros' name is the number 1 donor to Democrats, that's automatically anti-Semitism? Well, it's an anti-Semitic dog whistle. What? Fuck off. Anyway.
Soros paid for a crime wave, and Sam may have committed a crime to stop the red wave.
Yes, and that's in reference to all these attorney generals that Soros decided to bankroll. And most of the worst, if you can think of a bad attorney general or state's attorney, whatever, in any state that's run for office that is just shit, blame George Soros. Gaston in L.A. County, or what's the dude's name in San Francisco? Boudin, Chelsea Boudin, the guy in Seattle, in Chicago, what's her face that let Jesse Smollett out? You name it, you find a bad, and also even ours, Ken Ellison. I don't think Ellison has gotten a lot of money from Soros. I'm not sure, but I know that the other ones all have, and they're all Soros-backed attorneys who have been basically fucking up the planet, you know. And I noticed someone said something about the New York Times just admitted crime was up. I know that. What's her face in New York even? Letitia James too. She's also bankrolled by Soros. They're all bad. Alvin Bragg, yep, he's terrible. They're all terrible. Hello, Chris Kroll, nice to see you. And H.P. Lovecraft, what's up? Anyway, let's keep going through this because I'm running out of time.
The guy was throwing so much money around, it got the owner a seat right next to Clinton.
There he is. Look at him. Look at him. He's with Tony Blair and Bill Clinton, looking, kind of business casual. And he looks like a schlub who's... looks like a dude running a taco truck. He's a billionaire. $32 billion.
And he got an invite to Bill's after party with celebrities like Katy Perry, of course.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure he's back there. He's like, oh, look at those. I just want to touch that. I mean, here's what he's thinking. Ooh, hey, Katie. I got $32 billion. I could take care of some of that. Anyway, so...
Really got an eye for mega donors. First Epstein, Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh, that's right.
Who they call SPF.
SPF, yeah, because you're gonna get burned if you don't put a little SPF 5,000 on. Yeah, Bill Clinton, he's a gem. Anyway, let's not go through the whole Jesse Waters thing. It'll be in the links. By the way, if you're new here, anytime I put things like this on the internet, at the end of the show, in the description of this video, whether you're on Rumble or on YouTube, I will add a single link that can take you to any of these tweets, articles, videos, whatever, called a one-tab link. It'll be in the second paragraph of the description, and I will definitely add the rest of this video. But I want to move on from this because it's too long, and I want to keep going. But anyway, there's also, I wanted to show you just different takes on this. This is Ken Griffith, CEO of Citadel, highlighting one of the darkest details of the entire FTX. Who came up with the, someone said, who came up with what that acronym could stand for? The Fuck Trump Exchange. Fuck Trump Exchange. I'm sure that's what it stands for. And about how deep the rabbit hole goes. Here's 42 seconds of Ken Griffin.
That all of us are worried about You know, on the balance sheet of FTX is a line called Trump lose. And Sam was the second biggest donor to Democratic candidates.
I'm going to leave it to everybody else to draw their own conclusions about what you're saying here.
It's a Ponzi scheme to make Trump lose.
Those are really, really ugly facts when you see a fraud of this magnitude having played out, and you find no regulators were there to prevent it. That's a really, really tough story.
We could talk for quite a while about FTX. Sadly, we don't have it.
Oh, darn. We don't have time to talk about it. So anyway, T-Ball, nice job on the FTX acronym. And also, I would say FTG to FTX. So anyway, yeah, so this dude was... I think you're spot on there, T-Ball. It is the fuck Trump exchange. Also, Viva Fry put out a tweet today. SBF contributed nearly $40 million in midterms. Two others from FTX gave nearly $30 million. His mother, through the secretive Mind the Gap, funneled another $140 million. That's over $200 million in political contributions before the scheme collapsed after Election Day. Wow. So that's more than George Soros. They're number one. They're number one. Here's, let's see, latest federal campaign finance figures show that Bankman-Fried has contributed more than $39 million toward federal races in the cycle. More than 90% of that has gone to Democrat causes. He's also donated some money to Republican candidates and groups directly, as well as another cryptocurrency-related group that is made bipartisan contributions. Then he showed this another one here. Altogether, he gave $39.9 million, including $35 million to 3 different political action committees. 2 deputies at FTX, his cryptocurrency exchange, gave nearly $29 million more. But that giving looks awfully prolific. You know what that word is. Now, following a single tweet Tuesday morning by the world's richest crypto billionaire, this afternoon FTX asked for help. Anyway, and then here is the... inside the secret Silicon Valley group that has funneled over $20 million to Democrats. There's a reason you haven't heard of Mind the Gap. It's okay. And then finally, SBF's mother, Stanford law professor Barbara Fried, also is a co-founder of left-wing political action committee Mind the Gap, which has reported $140 million to help Democrats win elections through the same get out the vote. So it's all of the family. Very well done, Mom. Now, this is not related. Next, let's just go. We're going to get to breaking news. I want to get to the main story today. This is interesting. Oh, this is also FTX related. I forgot. So this is interesting and maybe speculative, but it's interesting. So there's someone named Frosty Takes made a little, one of those little people speaking things here, like a script, a movie script. Advisors, sir, we need to end this war. Zelensky, but why? I have an appearance scheduled with Sean Penn. Advisors, FTX has been compromised. Breaking news, Ukraine, and this is as of yesterday, Ukraine's President Zelensky, we are moving forward and we are ready for peace for all our country. Entry, apparently some of those crypto dollars have been creeping into Ukraine too. Interesting. Gunfox, good morning, sir. Scott W, good morning. Marty, how do you like yesterday's news? Yeah. It was lovely, Gunfox. It was lovely. All right, and let's see. Any more of these? I think I have. Is this? Uh-oh, what happened here? Well, apparently. Okay, what? Oh, now I wasn't even planning this. I'll come back. I will get to my story in a second. The next story is going to be the main story of the day. But this is interesting. This is breaking news from yesterday. Apparently, Charles Barkley went on with Don Lemon, the worst. I'm sorry. I don't know. Whatever happened to what's the dude's name? John The guy used to say, worst journalist of the year. Don Lemon, worst journalist of the year. Hell, John Galt, the guy, I wonder what happened to him. Anyway, here's a little clip of Charles Barkley talking about Kyrie Irving. So let's see what that is. But before I hit play, thank you, Ty Alexander. Ty Alexander, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you for sponsoring the show with a small bullet in the tip jar. Who says, this requires, should this have a little, this needs a little music. Here, let's try this one. Hello, my name is Sam. I ran a $32 billion scam. I donate a shit ton to my Democratic fam. Now my action has me on the lam. Now those former Democrats, when I ask for help, tell me to scram. These cunts deserve the wood chipper. You are so correct, sir. Thank you for sponsoring the Morning Night Live. And good morning, Real Wade Nation Gaming on Twitch. I greatly appreciate you joining us. And Brent Hayes, what's happening? Nice to see you guys. Hey, Wade, Great Wade Nation, let me ask you a question, because that's a new name I've never seen before in the chat. One, how did you find this channel? And were you here yesterday? Just out of curiosity, because I had a giant influx of people. I had no idea where they came from. So just out of curiosity, if you want to just let me know in the chat. All right, let's see what Charles Barkley said about Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie Irving's kind of under fire. We'll see what happens here. Let's check this out, and then we'll get into the main story of the day. This ought to be good.
Someone who is, you're covering sports, but you're speaking out about issues that have.
By the way, Kyrie Irving suspended for basically for a tweet in which he said a movie, and I showed a movie or something about something Black Hebraized Jews, whatever. And I don't know that. Well, they're trying to make Kyrie to be anti-Semitic, which I don't know if he is or not. But I don't actually understand what business it is of the fucking NBA to suspend him for it, especially because they're kind of making him go through this struggle session to be unsuspended. It has these 5 conditions and shit. I know they watched Randy Monkey and found you that way. I don't remember if I watched yesterday. Okay, I was just curious. Thank you for letting me know. Hello, Bubba, too. All right. Anyway, so they're making Kyrie go through this struggle session to be able to play again. Now, he was killing for the Nets, too. I mean, he was averaging like 28 points, 8 rebounds, and like 3 or 4 assists, and was leading the team, and then they suspend him. So I'm sure the Nets are like, dude, just do what they ask you so we can get you back on the court. And I think he's just telling them, I don't need this bullshit. Who knows? But anyway, here we go.
To do with.
Yeah, ever since that's exactly right, Lord Stanhope. Ever since he refused the jab. So anyway, Charles Barkley has almost a perfectly round head. That is impressive. Yeah, when he was in college, they called him the round mound of rebound, and I think he's nearly back to his college. Because when he was in college at Auburn, oh my God, dude was like 300 pounds, but he was still just an amazing basketball player, and he could jump like a mug. I mean, because Charles Barkley, they list him at 6'6". He might be 6'4". He might be 6'4", but the dude was just an incredible athlete. And watching him play at Auburn, almost single-handedly got him into the Final 8 back in, I think it was 83 or 84. I can't remember, but he was a beast in college, and obviously an NBA All-Star, and I think he's in the top 50 players too. But anyway, let's go back. I keep interrupting this. I'm just glad to see it. I'm just glad that blacks hate Jews more than they hate white people. Well, no, that's not true. Stop it. Stop writing shit like that. I shouldn't have read that. It's just, I don't know. It depends on where you live. I mean, that's all those hate crimes in Brooklyn. That's the brothers. It's not the white people. I'm just saying. All right, let's, let me click play so I can shut the fuck up.
Culture in society. Why so outspoken about this?
Why not? Can he be? You're outspoken about shit. Anyway,
Don, I don't like that word outspoken because I hope anybody who sees racism in any form whatsoever
What racism?
should stand up. Whether it's against a black person, a Hispanic person, a Jewish person, Asian. Asian hate's going a big deal in this country right now. So
clearly, Charles watches. This is CNN.
So anybody should try to do the right thing. If you see something wrong when it comes to race or homophobic or sexist, you should always say something. So, and I'm always going to do that. I don't care about the repercussions.
Oh, he was saying
if I see something wrong happening, Don, I'm going to say something.
How do you think the league should deal with it? Because, listen, he's still on suspension, but how do you think the league should deal with it? The reason I ask is because, you know, everyone is speaking out about it.
What did he do, though? That's the thing. Look, what he said, I'm going to say it was wrong. Let's say I say it was wrong because, you know, some of the things, at least implications, are wrong. But what does... He's not like a Holocaust denier or anything. I'm pretty sure that in Brooklyn he can't. You got to be, you know, cognizant of the fact that you're around a large number of the brethren, right? And maybe I should research what exactly he said more. I know he, you know, put a link to that movie that's selling on Amazon.com. I'm sorry. If it's an anti-Semitic movie, why is it selling on Amazon.com? Should we be talking to Jeff Bezos about this? Should Jeff Bezos be suspended from? Well, Jeff Bezos is got fuck you money, but you know what I mean. I'm just curious.
Irving is facing, you know, what he's facing, but the league let him go for a long time.
Let him go for what, Don? What are you talking about? The league let him go for a long time. He said it, whatever he said, and they suspended him, and now they got him in a struggle session, basically. Help me understand.
Sort of are forcing him to apologize, but what if these are his real beliefs? Should they be dealing with that as well? Maybe they
okay, that's a good question. What if these are his real beliefs? Now what? Now what? Are you paying him for his belief? You know what? Should we go and check every NBA player's beliefs on a lot of different things and determine what their status in the league is based on their beliefs? I can imagine some of the foreign players have some beliefs that you would be like, oh shit, I shouldn't have asked. But Kyrie said something out loud that I don't even know that I'm not even confident that Kyrie intends to be anti-Semitic. Which that's what he's being accused of. I don't know who Kyrie talks to outside of basketball. Does he ever spend some time down in the Brooklyn Hasidic community and talk to any of those people? And you know, I'm curious. No one knows what Kyrie's beliefs are other than people are accusing him of certain beliefs that he hasn't really articulated that well and hasn't spent a lot of time talking about. In fact, in the interviews after the games early on in this, he said, look, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about basketball. I'm not here. This is not that important to me, but you've made it that important now. And the media's made it that important. And again, this all stems from back when he wouldn't succumb to their demands regarding the Fauci juice, right? Anyway.
Have someone who actually believes these things.
What
I'm not saying it's right.
And what things, Don? What things? What does he believe that you think he believes or doesn't believe or may believe, or does he really believe? Just curious.
Instead of forcing him to apologize, maybe they should be dealing with that part of it.
What's he apologizing for?
I said that's a great question, Don. People have the right to feel and say what they want to. We have freedom of speech, but there are repercussions when you say certain things.
Why?
Listen, I don't know Kyrie Irving.
Of course, he is playing in Brooklyn, so that's, you know, you got to mind your P's and Q's. You play it in Brooklyn. because a lot of the brethren live in Brooklyn, and that's cool. I mean, I'm trying to remember which borough. My friend Wu, who comes and visits here sometimes, sent her kids went to Yeshiva University. I think it's in Brooklyn, but there's a large Hasidic Jew population in Brooklyn, and that's where a lot of these hate crimes are happening. It's usually brother on brethren crimes, if you know what I mean. Anyway,
I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. I think he's been suspended, rightfully so, and I think he should come back.
Really? Rightfully so. That's what I don't understand. That's what I understand. Rightfully so. What did he do specifically that necessitated a suspension from basketball? I would love to see him. I would love to see him talk to, or have. I wonder if there's any. I don't know. Not make him do it, but I wonder if he's ever sought any advice from certain Jewish leaders in that area, which it would be interesting. I'd really like to know what he really believes. Good morning, Septus Wolves. How you doing?
Back and play in the NBA. But, you know, that's a really slippery slope because, you know, people always talk about freedom of speech, freedom of effect, or you say whatever you want to, but there are repercussions. I mean, and
Charles knows that
right now, but this thing with free speech has really gotten out of hand, Don. I mean,
Okay, Charles, you need to shut the fuck up now. This thing with free speech has really gotten out of hand, Don.
You just can't go around insulting people and think it's okay.
That's what I don't understand. Who did he insult? That's what I don't understand. And Charles, you have a big fat head. Okay? I can say that. Of course, I don't have an NBA contract, so it doesn't matter. But anyway.
Well, people say, well, listen, if I don't get to say what I say, it's cancel culture. And I don't know if you probably do not agree with that.
I don't care, Don. I don't care if Charles agrees with it or not. Okay? Now, yes, of course there's repercussions of things you say, but I still haven't figured out specifically what it was that he said, and they haven't made it clear other than that one tweet when he talked about some movie or something. So I don't know. It's getting silly. Let's get into the main story while I have time. So here's the main story. When I said, do women have... What's the name of the stream? God. Do women have a choice? Do women have a choice? And the reason this has nothing to do with medical procedures. Well, at least not medical procedures on women. Do women have a choice when it comes to the trans ideology that's overwhelming so much of the conversations today? Do they have a choice of having their own spaces? If there's a conflict between a trans person who wants to say that that women are women and women who may have some reservations about trans people in their spaces, do they have a choice? Well, there has been one victory for women who may not be as comfortable with the idea that there are male anatomies in their female spaces. And so this is one that just came down yesterday. Let me see. There it is. There we go. Federal court protects female athletes, doctors, and rejects Biden's attempt to rewrite federal law. The ADF, which is an Alliance for Defending Freedom, attorneys arguing for that ruling in a friend of the court brief. In Amarillo, Texas, a victory for female athletes and healthcare providers. A federal district court rejected the Biden administration's reinterpretation of the word sex to include sexual orientation and gender identity in federal statutes. In Nice versus Becerra, Two Texas-based physicians are challenging the administration mandate in Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act that forces healthcare professionals to perform harmful medical procedures that seek to alter a patient's biological sex, even if the procedure violates the doctor's medical judgment or religious beliefs. That mandate depends on Title IX, a federal statute that the administration is also attempting to interpret to require women to compete against men in women's sports teams. In its ruling Friday, the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas Amarillo Division determined that because Title IX does not protect sexual orientation or gender identity status, neither does Section 1557. Alliance Defending Freedom attorneys filed a friend of the court brief in August arguing for the court to protect female athletes by striking down the administration's rewriting of federal law, which the court did in its ruling. In the ruling, quote, this is the friend of the court brief. Female athletes deserve to compete on a fair and level playing field with other women, and federal law protects equal opportunity for women to excel in sports, said ADF legal counsel Rachel Sutoros, I guess. I can't spell. It's a very interesting spelling of a name. We are pleased the court ruled not only to protect female athletes, but also doctors who should never be forced to perform controversial and medically dangerous procedures that violate their conscious and religious beliefs. In its opinion, the court rightly stopped the Biden administration, their gross overreach of its authority and political agenda. Now that's interesting because, I say this all the time. Regardless, one of the things that, for example, some of these abortion laws in states are doing when they're saying that you have a constitutional right to abortion, or even in Roe versus Wade. Some states, and this also applies to trans surgeries. This applies to pretty much any kind of surgery a surgeon would do. Some of these states and courts are trying to force certain medical facilities to perform these services. Now, take it for example when they tried to have a Catholic hospital, a Catholic hospital perform abortions, for example. Well, not every medical facility performs every medical procedure. For example, if I go to an orthopedic surgery center in near my town, right? That orthopedic surgery center isn't doing heart bypass surgery. They should not be forced to do heart bypass surgery, right? That's not a procedure they do. So if I'm a doctor who does, foot bone reconstruction surgery, I shouldn't have to provide abortion. So not every hospital needs to, even though it's legal, doesn't mean that a certain facility, a hospital or whatever, has to perform. Or if I'm a surgeon who does, appendectomies, and that's pretty much all I do, I shouldn't have to be able to do an addictomy. You know what I mean? So, sorry, that's an old Rush Limbaugh joke. Anyway, or a chop it off of me. Either one. They shouldn't have to do those because that's not a surgery I'm sorry, that's just not a surgery I do. So you can't make me do it. Anyway, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, by the way,
That's right.
dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, said, did you see the video of the Florida deputy and her cuck supervisor who detained and arrested a legal blind man because the female cop doesn't know the difference between a gun and a walking stick? I did see that video. They were both suspended without pay, and he was demoted. Good! That was, oh my God, that was so egregious. I did see that one. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show. Appreciate it. And you are the co-superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much, sir. All right. So anyway, Title IX protections center on difference between two biological sexes, not SOGI status. The court wrote in its opinion, Title IX expressly allows sex distinctions and sometimes even requires them to promote equal opportunity. Defendants' theory actively undermines one of the Title IX's major achievements, giving young women an equal opportunity to participate in sports. The court further wrote, the defendants' reinterpretation of Title IX through the notification imperils the very opportunities for women. Title IX was designed to promote and protect, categorically forcing biological women to compete against biological men. So that's a win for women who, just say, wait, so I get you want to have all this diversity and inclusion and all that, but let's be real, at least for certain physiological aspects that that we deal with. So there you go. Now, on that note, I'm running out of time, but I wanted to do this article from Christopher Rufo about these this thing, stochastic or stochastic terror that they keep talking about. Well, if you say something that is here, wait, I'll just read the beginning. You can read the rest of the article. It's a good article. This is from Christopher Rufo. I know I just botched what I was saying there, but just listen, just listen up, okay? Listen to what I read here. This is from Christopher Rufo, excuse me. I browsed the news recently only to discover that, according to Popular Science magazine, I was responsible for the attempted murder of Paul Pelosi, husband to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In an opinion piece for Scientific American, of all places, Scientific American, writer Brian Nelson insinuated that my factual reporting on Drag Queen Story Hour was an example of stochastic terrorism, which he defined as ideologically driven hate speech that increases the likelihood of unpredictable acts of violence. On the night of the attack, Nelson argued, I had appeared on Tucker Carlson Tonight to discuss my reporting. And hours later, the alleged attacker, David DePepe, I just want to call him David DePepe. I know it's David DePapa or DePep, whatever. David DePepe, radicalized by QAnon conspiracy theories about Democratic Satan worshiping pedophiles, broke into Pelosi's residence and attacked Paul Pelosi with a hammer. Now, this bizarre claim that for a magazine supposedly dedicated to science, you blinded me with science, hardly meets the scientific standard of cause and effect. There is no evidence that DePepe watched or was motivated by Tucker Carlson's program. Moreover, nothing in my reporting on Drag Queen Story Hour encourages violence or mentions Nancy Pelosi, QAnon, or Satan-worshiping pedophiles. My appearance on Tucker Carlson Tonight and DePepe's attack against Paul Pelosi are in reality two unrelated incidents in a large and complex universe. And Nelson, a microbiologist, writing fake science hit pieces, specializing in human excrement, is full of it. Oh, he's a shit doctor. I get it. But Nelson isn't trying to prove anything scientific in a scientific sense. Under the concept of stochastic terrorism, logic, evidence, and causality are irrelevant. Any incident of violence can be politicized and attributed to any ideological opponent, regardless of facts. Facts. The scheme works like this. Left-wing media activists and officials, it's redundant, designate a subject of discourse, such as Drag Queen Story Hour, off limits. They treat any reporting on that subject as an expression of hate speech. And finally, if an incident of violence emerges that is related, even tangentially, to that subject, they assign guilt to their political opponents and call for the suppression of speech. Yes, see, that whole, it's one of those things that says, when they say stochastic terrorism, all that means is, hey, shut up, we don't like what you're saying, we're going to call you related to some violent incident because you are a bad person. Shut up. Shut up. Thank you for that dramatic reading. Anyway, this statistical concept of stochasticity, which means randomly determined, functions as a catch-all. The activists don't have to prove causality. They simply assert it with a sophisticated turn of phrase and a vague appeal to probability. Though framed in scientific terms, this gamut is a crude political weapon. In practice, left-wing media, activists, and officials, again redundant, apply the stochastic terrorism designation only in one direction, rightward. They never attribute fire bombings of the pro-life pregnancy centers, arson attacks against Christian churches, or the attempted assassination of a Supreme Court justice to a mere argumentation of left-wing activists, such as, say, opposition to the court's decision in Dobbs. In those cases, the left correctly adopts the principle that it is incitement rather than opinion that constitutes a crime, but conveniently forgets that standard as soon as the debate shifts towards the movement's conservative opponents. In recent years, the left has not only monopolized the concept of stochastic terrorism, but also built a growing apparatus for enforcing it. Last year, the left-wing organizations and the Department of Justice, oh, you mean the United States government? Oh my goodness, collaborated on a campaign to suppress parents who oppose critical race theory under the false claim that sometimes heated school board protests were incidents of domestic terrorism. Earlier this year, left-wing activists and medical associations called on social media companies and the Department of Justice, the United States government, to censor, investigate, and prosecute journalists who question the orthodoxy of radical gender theory. The obvious goal is to suppress speech and intimidate political opponents. Stochastic terrorism could serve as a magic term. Magic. A magic term for summoning the power of the state. Sounds like fascism to me. Anybody else? If this process is left unchecked, the consequences will be disastrous. Left-wing NGOs, social media companies, and federal security apparatchiks will gain unprecedented power to police speech and criminalize political opposition. There's an amendment about that. I can't remember which one. Conservative and online liberals who care about civil liberties must expose the scheme and work to dismantle the apparatus that supports it. The line of argument is simple. Speech is not violence. Speech is not violence. Again, for those in the back, speech is not violence. Speech is not violence. I've got lost. Oh, and statistical abstraction is not a substitute for evidence, and free association fantasies cannot determine guilt. But the politics of fighting back are more complex. It will require dislodging a network of professionals who see the concept of stochastic terrorism as a path to power. It's all about power, you motherfuckers. And that concept is built on a lie. It deserves to be exposed and discredited. So, very good article. I wasn't going to read the whole thing, but it was so good I had to keep going. Hello, Simic Logic. Nice to see, or Magic, I see you. All right, now I'm out of time, but I'm gonna press on just for a short period of time. Just a couple of things that happened that are good in Vermont. Remember the volleyball team that had the transgender player swinging his schlong around and looking at the girls while they were undressing? Well, what they did was they told the girls, because you are uncomfortable with some guy staring at you while you're dressing, we're going to force you to not be able to use the locker room, and we'll just let that person that is of transgender orientation, it's not even orientation, whatever, we're going to let them go there because you're the bad ones for feeling uncomfortable for having someone stare at you while you get dressed. Well, the school is back down after the ADF files a First Amendment lawsuit. Now, there's a couple things that happened here. It wasn't just that. But anyway, lawyers representing Randolph Union High School in Randolph, Vermont, persuaded school officials to drop their threats of punishment upon receiving a 124-page lawsuit filed by the Alliance for Defending Freedom. At issue, the school's determination to force its transgender policy upon a 14-year-old girl and her father for daring to question those practices, i.e. complaining when a male who declared himself to be a female entered the girls' locker room to observe them undressing. Our UHS officials demanded that the student, Blake, her name is Blake, the girl is named Blake Allen, take part in a restorative circle. Oh, a restorative circle? What might that be? Oh, you mean like a struggle session? To help her understand the rights of transgender students to access public accommodation in a manner consistent with their, quote, their self-proclaimed gender identity. School officials also demanded that her father, Travis Allen, apologize for a Facebook post challenging the mother of the transgender male, female, whatever, over the veracity of a Facebook post she made defending her transgender child, I'll just say. Here's the ADF reviewed the incident. Travis Allen and his 14-year-old daughter Blake were punished for expressing their views on a matter of profound public concern, whether a teenage male who identifies as a female should be permitted to change in a girl's locker room, regardless of the discomfort experienced by all the other women. That's, again, the title of my stream. What is it? Something about, do women have a choice? Because here's where my problem is. So even the thing with locker rooms, I know bathrooms, they have the stalls and shit like that, but in particular with locker rooms at sports teams, they try to make it inclusive for the person who has the mental issue that makes them think they're something that other than what they are, right? And so you're trying to make it comfortable for them. But do women have the right to be uncomfortable and not be okay with that? That's the problem. They don't, the push is, it doesn't matter what you think. We're going to be inclusive. We're going to let this person be in there when you're doing things and that make you uncomfortable. And we don't care if you're uncomfortable. We only care about the comfort of the other individual. And that's where the title of the stream came from. Anyway, objecting to a male being in the room while girls are changing, Travis and Blake each made comments underscoring that the trans-identifying student is in fact a male, including using male pronouns. Indeed, their view of the student's maleness was foundational to their opinions on appropriate use of the locker room, yet their remarks were too much for the defendants, that would be the school's, transgender orthodoxy. Travis was deemed to have misgendered the student, while Blake was found guilty of, quote, harassment and bullying, end quote. So defendants disciplined both of them. They disciplined the girl and her father. The ADF claimed that by doing so, the school officials violated Allen's First and 14th Amendment rights. Defendants are state actors, and that's just it. The school is the state, and the state cannot violate your First Amendment rights. Defendants are state actors and violate the First Amendment when they attempt to dictate what may be said on matters of public concern, which this certainly is. They cannot discriminate against speech on the basis of its viewpoint. Yet that is exactly what happened here. Defendants punished Travis and Blake for saying that a male is a male and as a matter of sex and biology, regardless of the gender identity that the male has assumed. So anyway, this goes on far more into it, but the moral of the story is the school backed down. By the way, Travis's father, her name's Travis? No, Blake. I'm sorry. Blake's father, Blake Travis, was the middle school soccer coach for, I don't know if he coaches girls or boys, but it doesn't really matter. And they were going to make him, they were punishing him too for siding with his daughter. Oh, here's the thing. Here's how, in fact, here's his part. Blake's father, Travis, got involved when he responded to the following Facebook post by the mother of the transgender child. Quote unquote. I am the mother of a trans student in question, and my son, my daughter, son, did not make any comments at all. The entire team can back this up, other than the girl that made up the story for attention. This is slander, defamation of character, and we have secured a lawyer. Well, good for you. Travis responded, I'm the father of the girl you claim made up the story for attention. The truth is your son watched my daughter and multiple other girls change in the locker room. While he got a free show, they got violated. You think this is fine and dandy? I wonder how you would feel if I watched you undress. Oh, shit. That's gotcha, bitch. Anyway, and then for that transgression, the school officials demanded that Travis apologize and ended a contract it had with him as a coach of the school's girls soccer team. Actually, he was the coach of the middle school girls soccer team. Now, so claimed in the NDF lawsuit, the First Amendment does not countenance this kind of government censorship where a public school mandates that students and coaches refrain from expressing any views that offends its prescribed views, particularly on an issue as important as whether the school should permit males identifying as girls undress, shower, and change in the girls' locker room. Travis and Blake Allen were entitled to express their views on that issue, and in expressing those views to support them with what is a biological fact that a biological teenage male is indeed a male. This case presents a textbook example of unconstitutional viewpoint discrimination, and plaintiffs are entitled to appropriate relief. So there's more, but I'm going to call it a day because that's all I have time for. Now, I have several, even though I only got that far in my multiple articles today, I have several others that would be of interest to you, I'm sure. By the way, I do have the actual copy of the lawsuit that they filed. This is it, United States District of Vermont, Travis Allen and Jessica Allen, and next friend and mother of minor Blake Allen. Plaintiffs versus the school board and several school board officials. If you want to see the entire complaint, if you're really nerdy. But this is kind of insidious. Do people have a choice? Again, here's just a short example again of, do even parents have a choice on what happens with their kids anymore as this ideology becomes more powerful politically? So listen to this.
That for a child to believe something, you have to tell them 14 times before they start to believe it. This was my daughter in ninth grade. By the end of the year, 3 of the teachers that she had in her classrooms were repeating things to her. She began cutting herself. She became depressed. By the end of the school year, she was also calling herself by a different name.
And the school never notified her.
Was not informed of these things. I came in for an open house for art, and I saw her name was something different. I am her parent. And as a parent, I should be informed of these things. This is a mental health issue that needed to be addressed. So her second year, under the disguise of a fundraiser, one of the teachers who was encouraging her in these behaviors also took these children and had their heads shaved for a fundraiser so they'd look more like what they identified with. I just want to say that here I am today.
A teacher did this.
And my child has now removed her breasts, is taking testosterone. This causes atrophy. It causes the muscles in her vagina to collapse.
It's not a turtleneck. She has a neck brace on.
Incontinence. But these are not the facts that anyone shares with you. And it only takes 14 times for a child to start believing this. I'm asking this board to be monitoring what your teachers are saying to these children. I am asking you that these parents do not have to suffer through this like I have.
Thank you.
And just to...
That for a child to believe something.
In summary, hey, teachers, leave them kids alone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. I have several other articles open. You can check out some of the things we could have got to had I been on time. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on the Morning 9 Live. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button on Twitter. On YouTube, 31 people, 21 likes. Hit the plus sign, the plussy, smash that plussy on Rumble, or you can fist the thing if you're on a phone. And please, if you would be so kind, share the stream after the show. That'd be great. Let people know we were here. Also, if you want to sponsor the show 24 hours a day, you can go to pdognight.live right up there, right there. And that's better than giving Susan 30% You can use credit cards or PayPal on that. Credit cards are better, but I don't care either way. Thanks for those who sponsor the show. Today's sponsors, Tyre Alexander and Black Hebrew Israelite. Thank you again. And that's it. If you're watching our replay, put a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Do women have a choice anymore? Apparently, at least one court believes they do, and that's a good thing. All right, that's it. I got to go. Thank you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow my normal time, 10 o'clock Eastern. God willing, if I be here on time once or twice a week, that'd be great. But that's around the time I stream on the daily, Monday through Friday. And we'll see you then. Thank you. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.